Hello guys, welcome to my channel Smart E-Learning. This is my first YouTube channel video and I thought I will go with a very simple topic. So, today we are going to discuss something about the design of a dogless staircase by using IS 456 2000. So let us see how to design the design of a dogless staircase and what are the actual things required to design the staircase. So, as per clause IS 456 2000, clause 33, in clause 33 there are three different clauses are mentioned. The first one is 33 clause 33A, clause 33B, and clause 33C. Let us see what actually the clause 33A are. Clause 33A supported at top and the bottom riser by beam spanning parallel with the riser, the distance center to center of the beam. So what actually this is? Here this is a beam. Sorry, this is the staircase. This is the landing slab. This one is the landing slab at the bottom side. This is the at the top side. This one is the flight. It is supported at the top and the bottom riser by the beam. This one is the beam and spanning parallel with the riser and the distance center to center of the beam, and this is the center to center of the beam, and the effective length of the staircase as per clause 33A is the center to center distance of the beam at the top and the bottom riser plus the going plus the this length of the flight is which give us the effective length of the staircase as per clause 33A. Let us see this in the elevation view. uh, uh, this is one is the ground floor, first floor, and the mid landing. The mid landing, as per the clause, it said that supported at the top and the bottom riser by a beam. Here the top riser and the bottom riser supported by a beam, uh, which is spanning parallel with the risers, and the distance center to center of the beam gives the effective length of the staircase. Here the center to center distance of the beam plus the going gives the effective length of the staircase. This is actually the clause 33 above. Let us see different other clause 33b. As per clause 33b, spanning on the edge of a landing slab which span parallel with the riser, a distance equal to the going of the stair plus each and other half the width of the landing, or 1 meter, whichever is smaller. So let us see what actually this is. This is the beam. This is the staircase. The beam is at the edge of the landing slab which spans parallel to the riser, or the distance is equal to the going of the staircase. This is the going of the staircase plus or addition at each another half, this half or this half, the half of the width of the landing slab, or we can say that the center to center distance of the landing slab gives the effective length of the staircase as per clause 33b. Or one thing also mentioned, or 1 meter. This LE means the half of the width at this side, half of the width at this side, plus the width of the plus the going of the staircase gives the effective length, or the 1 meter, whichever is smaller we take as the effective length of a staircase. Let us see in the elevation view. This is the landing slab, or we can say this is the beam which is parallel with the riser. This is the beam at the mid landing, this is beam at the ground level, and this is flight 1 and this flight 2. What is said? The going of the staircase, matlab the going of the staircase plus half of the width at this point, half of the width at this point gives the effective length of the staircase, or 1 meter, whichever is the smaller. So let us see the third clause, clause 33c. The landing slash span in the same direction as the stair. They shall be considered as acting together to form a single slab, and the span determined as the distance center to center of the supporting beam or wall. The going being measured horizontally. What we see, 30 this one is the staircase. the beam is present at this side. uh, uh, so as in simple, we can from this clause we can interpret that we need to consider the land, we need to consider staircase as a single slab. So and the effective length of this staircase as per clause 33 is given as the we need to calculate it as a single slab. So the center to center distance from this beam to center distance from the beam give the effective length of the staircase as per clause 33c. Let us see it in the elevation view. This is the elevation view. This is the first floor, ground floor, and the mid landing, flight 1 and flight 2. So flight 1 and flight 2. So we need to consider it as a single slab. So beam is present here, here, and here. So this will give the effective length. So let us take one numerical. Design a dogleg staircase for a building as shown in a figure. Use IS 456-2000, and we are referring clause 33C. So we already discussed what actually the clause 33C are, uh, and the positioning, and actually what are the effective length. So this is the diagram. Every length is given. The going, then the landing, then the width of the landing. Everything is given. This is the elevation view. Let us start with the numerical. So as per we already know what is clause 33C states that the landing slab span in the same direction as the stair. They shall be considered as acting together to form a single slab. The span determined as the distance center to center of the supporting beam or wall. The going being measured horizontal. So in this we need to consider it as a single slab, and the effective length will be center to center of the supporting beam plus the landing at the both end plus the going will give the effective length of the staircase. So let us assume something. Floor to floor height will be 3.2 meter, floor finish 1.5 kilonewton per meter square, live load 3 kilonewton per meter square, wall thickness will be 230 mm, FCK and FY 30 MPa and 500 MPa respectively. So let us see about the architectural planning. Now let us consider the mid landing height is at as 1.6 meter. As we already know about the floor to floor height of a building as 3.2 meters. So mid landing is present at the midway of the floor. Therefore 3.2 divided by 2 give us 1.6 meter. It obvious that one flight need to climb up to 1.6 meter. Let us consider the 160 mm of a riser. Therefore, total number of a riser required is 3200 divided by 160, that is 20 numbers. So, therefore, providing 10 number of riser in each flight. Therefore, number of thread is 10 minus 1, that 9 number is required number in one flight. Therefore, in one flight, there will be 9 threads. So, as per the architectural requirement, total going is given as 2340 mm. Therefore, width of one thread will be 2340 by 9 equal to 260 mm. Therefore, from this we know that the riser equal to 160 mm and the thread is equal to 260 mm. So after calculating this, let us check what are going to be the effective span of a staircase as per clause 33.1.6. So refer IS 456 2000 clause 33.1.6. Uh, Assuming the width of a beam at the end of a landing to be 230 mm, as we already see in the in previously that the width of a beam is given as 230 mm. Let us see what are going to be effective span of a staircase as per the clause 33.1.6. So L equal to L plus G plus L, where L is the width of a landing present at the top and the bottom side of a staircase, and G is the going. So Here 230 by 2 plus 230 by 2 is given as it is center to center distance of a beam from at the top and the bottom side of a staircase. As we already discussed, we are seeing this numerical of type 33C. As 33C, we need to consider the we need to consider consider it as a single slab, and the effective length is the center to center distance between at the center distance of the landing slab of the width of a beam present at the top and the bottom side plus the going. So here 1000 plus 2340 plus 1000 plus 230 by 2 plus 230 by 2 is give us about 4.57 mm, which are actually 4.57 meter. So let us assume the overall depth of a waste slab as 40 mm per meter of effective span. We can take 40 to 60 mm as per our choice. So d equal to 4.54. Oh, sorry, it is by mistake it is 4.54 written, but it is actually 4.57. Don't worry about the calculation, it is correct. So 4.57 into 40 gives about 182.8 mm, which we round it off as 190 mm. Let us take 30 mm of effective cover. So after taking 38 mm of effective cover, we get the effective depth as overall depth minus effective cover. 190 minus 30 gives us about 160 mm. Let us calculate the load which are acting on the staircase. So first we calculate the load on the flight. Uh, let us uh, let us calculate the load on the flight. As we see, the base slab is inclined in shape. So, in order to calculate the load which are coming on the base slab, it is very difficult to calculate the load. So, what we can take, we can multiplying it by the multiplying factor. And the multiplying factor is given, that is under root of r square plus t square upon t, where r is the rise and t is the thread. So the total load coming on the flight is 1. 1 is the 1 meter width of 1 meter of a base slab. D is the weight density of a D is the overall depth, and 25 is the weight density of a concrete, and we multiply it with the multiplication factor so that we can convert it into a horizontal equivalent to load. So 1 into 0.19, as we saw below, that the overall depth is given as, so overall depth we calculate as 190 mm into 25, and the multiplying factor we got that to 5.58 kilonewton per meter. So let us see some let us here in the video in the picture you can see that it is a base slab is in inclined shape. So we in order to get the horizontal equivalent load, we multiply it by the multiplying factor. So let us calculate what actually the self weight of a steps. So what are we are going to do in this? We are assuming the weight of a step as equivalent horizontal slab which are having the thickness of r by 2. So the weight of a slab is going to be 1 into 25. 25 is the weight density of a concrete into r by 2 as a horizontal equivalent slab of thickness r by 2. So r is given as 0.16 divided by 2. So we got the weight of a slab as 2 kilonewton per meter. Then we are going to see then the step finish. Already in we assume in the previous steps the step finish as 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. So we multiply it by 1 so that we get in terms of 1.5 kilonewton per meter for per meter length. So now the live load also we assume previously we taken as the live load as 3 kilonewton per meter square. We multiply it with 1 so that we get it as a kilonewton per meter. So total load which are coming on the flight is going to be self weight of a base slab plus self weight of a step plus self weight of a step finish plus the life load which are coming on the coming on the flight. So self weight of a base slab is 5.58 plus self weight of a step is 2. Self weight step finish is 1.5 and live load is 3. The total we got as is 12.08 kilonewton per meter. The load which are we got is the working load, so we converted it into a design load. So we multiplied it with partial safety factor of 1.5. So 1.5 into 12.08, we actually we got as 18.2 kilonewton per meter. Let's move to the next slide. Uh, Now calculate the load coming on the landing. So let us assume that the thickness of a landing slab is equal to the thickness of a landing slab equal to the thickness of a base slab. So let us take the self weight of a landing slab. What we do, one is already taken for 1 meter, and is the weight density of a concrete. D is the overall depth of the concrete, overall depth of the staircase, and 25 is the weight density of a concrete. So 1 into 0.19 into 25 give us 4.75 kilonewton per meter. Floor finish is also given. Here we take as a floor finish because we are talking about the landing. In the previous case, we take a step finish because we are actually focusing on the going where the steps are there. So we take as a step finish. Here we take as floor finish. So let us take floor finish as 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. So to convert it into kilonewton per meter, we multiply it by 1 meter, so that we get as 1.5 kilonewton per meter. Also, we already know that live load is given as 3 kilonewton per meter square. So similarly, we multiplied it by 1, so that we get it as 3 kilonewton per meter. So total load which are coming on the flight, which are coming on landing by mistakenly it is written in as the flight. So total load which are coming on the landing is self-weight of landing slab plus floor finish plus the live load, which is as 4.75 plus 1.53, which is 9.25 kilonewton per meter. Therefore, the design load will be multiplying it by the partial safety multiplying with the safety factor. We got 13.875 kilonewton per meter. Now, let us see about the design of a flight one. The flight one which are from GL to mid landing. As the landing at the GL is supported directly on the filling, therefore the effective length for the flight one is going to be the length of a going plus the half of the width the supporting wing at the mid landing. Therefore the effective length of the flight one is L equal to 230 by 2 plus 1000 plus 2340, which is 3.455 meter. So we already know about that. This one is the flight and this one is the landing. So for the flight, the total design load is 13.875 kilonewton per meter, and for the landing, it is 18.12 kilonewton per meter. So as we see, there are not much difference in the number. So what we do, there is a small difference in the loading on flight and the loading on the landing. So for better design or for simplicity, we can adapt the greater value of the two. So here we can see that the loading on landing is the greater one, so we take the loading on the landing. So we take as a single one, single loading as 18.12 kilonewton per meter. So you can see in the figure that we take the single loading for the flight as well as for the landing as 18.12 kilonewton per meter. For simplicity, we take 18.12 kilonewton per meter. Let us move to the next slide. Let us calculate the bending moment as well as shear force. We already know the bending moment formula as WL square by 8. So we already know what actually W is. We taken the as the highest one, that is 18.12 into 3.455 is the effective length for the flight one, divided by 8, which give us about 27.037 kilometer per meter. Here is the shear force, that is WL by 2, and W we already know, the higher one, 18.12 into effective length divided by 2, which is 31.30 kilonewton per meter. After this, let us check the bending moment criteria as per the depth. So in the previous slide, we already calculated the effective depth as a 160 mm. So here the formula which is given in the IS code, it is MU limiting equal to 0.133 FCK BD square. We already know about FCK B. Uh, uh, MU we already know, here 27.037 kilonewton per meter. So we kept D as unknown. We now calculate what is D required. So D required equal to under root of MU limiting upon 0.133 FCKB. So MU limiting 27.03, so maybe converted into uh, Newton per mm. So so we multiply it by 10 raised to 6, divided by 0.133 into 30 into 1000. So what we get, D required equal to 82.137 mm. We can see that whatever D required is lesser than the D provided. Therefore, we can say that the bending moment is safe for the depth. Whatever depth we provided is safe. Therefore, okay. So let us calculate the main reinforcement for the flight one. We already know about the AST formula for the flight one. There are various formulas given. For me, this is the simpler one and simpler to remember. The AST is given AST formula is given as 0.5 FCKBD upon Fy, 1 minus under root of 1 minus 4.6 mu upon FCKBD square. Everything we know, 0.5 into FCK is we are already assume, B we already know, as we are doing for 1 meter width, 1 meter, therefore we taken as 1000 mm. Into dv, dv already know, the depth provided is safe, so we take as 160 mm. Fy we already know is 500 mm. 1 minus under root of 1 minus 4.6 is given. Mu we check the bending moment is safe, so 27.037 into 10 raised to 6 divided by FCK with no 30 into 1000 into 160. So the AST we got is 405.81 mm square. So after getting this AST, we need to check it with the AST minimum. So AST minimum, I already written the AST minimum value. But after in the next slide, we are going to see how to calculate the AST minimum. So for this area, let us calculate how many bar, how many the reinforcement we required, or what are the spacing for the reinforcement. Now first we check the spacing for the main reinforcement. The formula is given, spacing equal to AST upon AST into 1000. This small AST for the this bar, whatever we assume na, for this bar, and capital AST is the actual area. So pi by 4 into 10 square divided by 405.81 into 1000. 1000 is actually the B width, 1 meter width. So therefore the spacing we got is 193.54 mm. So actually the spacing is 190 mm. Let us check the spacing. Whatever we spacing is provided is as per the IS code or not. So the spacing, the calculated spacing we got is 190 mm. So as per IS code, it is given that spacing should be 3D. That is whichever was smaller of the three, the calculated one 3D or the 300 mm. The calculated one we got as 190 mm. 3D will be 3 into D. D is the effective depth. Therefore, we got as 480 mm, and 300 mm is the minimum. Out of these three, 190 mm is the least. So we can provide with our calculated one. Therefore, providing 10 mm diameter at 190 mm center to center as the main reinforcement in flight. So after getting the spacing, let us calculate what actually the AST provided. So AST provided formula is AST upon SP. The SP is the spacing into 1000. Just we reverse the formula. AST is the number of bar, pi by 4 into 10 square. As spacing we as in the previous we check the spacing. It is 190 mm and 1000 is the width. So we get the AST provided is 413.36. After getting the AST provided, we are going to see what actually the PT provided is. PT provided is AST provided upon PD into the 100. So AST provided we got as 413.36 divided B is already know 1000 into 60 is the diameter. 60 is the depth into 100. So PT provided we got as 0.26 percentage. So now after checking for spacing, after calculating AST provided, PT provided, let us check for the shear. So we got the PT provided 0.26%. So let us go to IS 456 table number 19, and our grade of concrete is M30. So here is the table number. In the right you can see the picture table number 19. I just take from IS 456 2000. So here you get here PT percentage is given. Here the different grade of a concrete. So for PT percentage of 0.26% and for grade M30, what actually we are going to see the tau c, that design shear strength of a concrete. So after interpolating, we got the design shear strength of a concrete as 0.3752 Newton per mm square or megapascal. So after calculating TC, we calculate the tau v. Now how to calculate the tau v? It is tau v equal to Vu upon Bd. So we already know about the shear. Vu is actually the shear force. So shear force is 31.30 into 10 raised to 3, as it is given as kilonewton. We convert it into Newton. V is known as the width and D is the depth. So we got the tau v as 0.1956 Newton per mm square. So here the tau v is very much smaller than the tau c. Therefore, our our flight is safe in shape. Let us also see also check the deflection. So check for deflection. Here Fs equal to 0.58 Fy, AST required upon AST provided. In the previous tip we also both calculated AST required as well as the AST provided. 0.58 into Fy is 500 into AST required is given as 405.81. AST provided is 413.36. So F is going to be 284.70 Newton per mm square. So let us go to 456 2000 page number 38 figure number 4. I already pasted here. You can see in the IS 456. Here is the picture. This is the graph. So from this here this one in the x-axis it is given as the PT percentage, or in the y-axis it is given as the modification factor, and Fs value is given. We already know what actually the Fs value for our numerical. So from the x-axis, this line, do you see this line? We take above, uh, take above. We already know our PT percentage. Then from this we get the modification factor as 1.3, 1.3, and after that we calculate the L by D allowable. So we multiply for the simply support, it is given at 20 into modification factor we got as 26. L by D actual, the effective length divided by D divided by the actual length, we got as L by D actual is 23. So here we can see that L by D actual is less than L by D allowable, therefore it is safe in deflection. Let us calculate the distribution reinforcement. As we calculate the main reinforcement for the flight one, let us calculate the distribution reinforcement for the flight one. So or we are, as per the IS code, it is given that AST, that area of a steel of a distribution reinforcement will always be 0.12% of a gross area. So 0.12 upon 100 into B into D, 1000 into 190 is the overall depth. We got as 228 mm square. Let us take the diameter of 8 mm bar for the distribution reinforcement. Therefore, the spacing for the distribution reinforcement will be AST upon AST into 1000. Small AST is the diameter of the bar and capital AST is the area of the steel. So pi by 4 into 8 square upon 228 into 1000. The spacing we got is 220.46 mm square. So we take it as 220 mm. So let us check the spacing. The three criteria that we already discussed how to check the spacing. The first one is the calculator, second one is the 3D, and the third one is the 300 mm, which is the minimum one. Whichever is the minimum, we take that. So the calculated one is 200 mm and 3D is 5 into 160. The there 800 mm and the third one is 300. The smallest one is the calculated one. Therefore, we take the calculated one. Therefore, adapting 8 mm pi for distribution reinforcement at a spacing of 220 mm. Therefore, now we provide the AST. AST provided will be pi by 4 into 8 square upon spacing into 1000. We got a 228.48 mm. Let us move to the next slide. As I already said, providing 8 mm pi at 220 mm center to center at the distribution reinforcement in flight 1. Now let us check for the shear. I already told about how to check for the shear. Now, not going much deeper, let us just read. PT provided, we know that 0.26 percentage. uh, then we refer the highest 456 2000 for M30 grade, table number 19. We can check the design shear strength of a concrete tau c. In this case we got 0.3752 Newton per mm square. Let us now calculate tau v, Vu by Bd. We got as 0.1956 Newton per mm square. Here we can see that tau v is much lesser than tau c. Therefore we can say that it is safe. Uh, our flight is safe in ship. Therefore, okay. Now I also tell you about deflection check for deflection. So I am not going to go in detail. So Fs here we can see that F is equal to 0.58 Fy AST required upon AST provided. So Fs we got is 289.39 Newton per mm square from figure 4 of IS 456 page 38. We got the modification factor is 1.3. L by D allowable we got is 20 into 1.3 equal to 20, and L by D actually is 23. So here L by D actually is lesser than the L by D allowable, therefore it is safe in deflection. Let us move to the next slide. Now as we calculate the main reinforcement from flight 1, similarly we are going to calculate the main reinforcement for the flight 2. The only difference in this case is that is about the effective length. In the previous one we saw that the effective length for the flight 1 is the going plus the center to center distance of the beam of mid landing, and at the GL there is the filling. So we can't don't we didn't take the we did take that distance, but in this case we are taking from the mid landing to the floor level. So all the effective length will be considered. So let us check. So total length is taken. We already written, already look, take a already see what actually the effective length for the whole flight in the very first slide. So I'm not going to tell you about again. So here we see there is the two landing in one flight. For the landing, for the landing the load is given as 13.875 kilonewton per meter. Here it is written at the board end, and for the flight it is given as 18.12 kilonewton per meter. So for the conservative design or for simplicity, what we can do, we can take the maximum of it. So we can see that for the going, the load which are coming on the going is the maximum one. So for the entire flight we can take as a single load. So ignoring the small difference in the loading on the flight and the loading of the landing, so we adopt the greater of the two. So here we adopt the greater of the two, which is 18.12 kilonewton per meter. Now calculate the bending moment and the shear force. Bending moment, as is already said, W L square by 8, which is given as 47.304 kilonewton meter, and shear force is W L by 2. So it is 41.404 kilonewton per meter. So let us go to the next slide. Now check for the bending moment criteria. D is given. D is we already know 160 mm. Uh, then the MU limiting formula is given as I score 0.133 FCK BT square. Now D is the unknown. We check the depth. Everything is known. D required equal to under root of MU limiting upon 0.133 FCK MU limiting is we know. We just calculate in the previous slide. 47.304 into 10 raised to 6, 0.33 FCK we know it's 30 into 1000. We get the D required as 108.88 mm. or we provided D as 160 mm, which is much greater than the D required. Therefore, it is okay. Whatever depth we provided for the bending moment criteria is okay. So let us design the main reinforcement for the flight one. As I said, this is the simplest one that I feel. For the AST formula, AST is given as 0.5 FCK BD upon FY 1 minus under root of 1 minus 4.6 mu upon FCK BD square. So we just put all the value. We got the AST value as 736.498 mm square. So AST minimum is 228 mm square, and which is greater, therefore it is okay. So assuming 10 mm bar for main reinforcement, therefore the spacing for the main reinforcement is given as AST upon AST into 1000. So small AST is pi by 4 into 10 square, as we assume 10 mm of bar, and capital AST in the previously we saw that it is 736.498 into 1000 is the width. So we get the spacing as 106.60 mm. So we just round it off. We take 100 mm. Let us go to the next slide. Let us check for the spacing. As I say, we check the spacing for the three criteria: calculated one, 3D, and 3D mm. Whichever is the smallest one, we take that. So in this case, 100 mm is the smallest one. So we adapt that spacing. Therefore, we provided 100 mm diameter bar at 100 mm center to center as the main reinforcement in flight 1 and above. Therefore, AST provided will be small AST upon spacing into 1000. Therefore, pi by 4 into 10 square upon spacing will be 100 into 1000. So, AST provided will be 785.398 mm square. So, PT provided will be AST provided upon BD into 100. So, AST provided is 785.398 and B is the 1000, and D is overall depth is effective depth is 160 into 100. So, PT provided is 0.41 percentage. Let us check for share. We already do twice we did the check for share. PT provided is 0.491 percentage. So we just refer this table 19. We calculate tau c as 0.49 Newton per mm square. Here the blue sign, just interpolate and we got the value of tau c. We calculate the tau v as vu by bd. We got that 0.2587. Here we can see that tau v is very smaller than tau c. Therefore, uh, our flight is safe in shape. Let us also check the for deflection. uh, this one we also saw the in twice. So Fs is given as 0.58 Fy AST required upon AST provided. 0.58 into 500 is the Fy. AST required is 736.49. AST provided is 485.39. So Fs we got is 271.944. The figure let us refer figure 4 of IS 456 2000 page 38. This is the figure, and from this figure we calculate the modification factor by undertaking the PT percentage and the FH value. We got the modification factor as 1.2. We calculate the L by D allowable as multiplying by 20 into 1.2 modification factor equal to 24. We got 20. L by D actual effective length divided by the D depth, we got 23. As we saw, L by D actually is less than the L by D available. So therefore we can say that our flight is safe in deflection. As now let us see about the design of distribution reinforcement flight 1. Flight 2. So for landing. So as we can take design of distribution reinforcement flight 2. So as there must not much more difference in flight 1 and flight 2. So like what we can do, we can adopt the same distribution reinforcement as that of flight 1. Therefore, by simply we can say that provided pi at 230 center to center at distribution shield in flight 2 and above, whatever the floor it may be, the distribution shield for the flight will be going to the same. Just the main reinforcement will be changed. So let us move to the next slide. So this is all from the very first video from myself. If you think you like it, then press the like button, then share with your friend and subscribe it. If anything, if any question or any doubt, you can just comment it or mail me. I just provide my mail in the description. So thank you.